Hey, what's up? So, if you've been playing Diablo 2 Resurrected, you've probably noticed that Blizzard Entertainment just rolled out another update. First up, let's talk about what this update actually does. This patch is aimed squarely at resolving a user interface problem that popped up after the previous patch, the one that came alongside the Reign of the Warlock expansion. That expansion itself brought a ton of changes. New class, new valley content, lots of itemization shifts, and all the rest. But it also unfortunately introduced this UI glitch for folks playing on PlayStation. Now, what was going on with that UI? Well, after the last round of updates, a lot of PlayStation players, both PS4 and PS5, were running into situations where the interface would behave incorrectly. Text might not display as expected, menus could freeze, or transitions between screens would sometimes feel clunky or even cause the game to crash altogether. It was a tough break for players who were jumping back in for the new season, and judging by the community reactions online, people were understandably frustrated. With this patch now live, the UI problem has been officially addressed, at least on PS4 builds, and reports are coming in that the PS5 equivalent has also started to receive the fix. That means menus and on-screen elements should finally behave the way they're supposed to, again on both current-gen and previous-gen PlayStation hardware. It's a small thing in the grand scheme of the game's big world, but players really felt the difference when it was broken. So having it smoothed out is a big relief for a lot of people who were grinding through quests and ladder runs. But that's not all that the patch addresses. There's another issue that's been lingering since the Reign of the Warlock update, and this one isn't strictly just a UI glitch, and that's the case of brief freezes or stutters during certain gameplay moments. A notable example is when Deckard Cain identifies multiple items for you in town. Before this patch, if you picked up a pile of unidentified loot and went to Cain to reveal what everything was, the game would frequently pause for a fraction of a second. Something like 2 to 3 tenths of a second every time an item was processed. It's subtle, but if you're doing this over and over, it interrupts the flow of play and gets pretty noticeable. This little freeze can also show up at other times, like when you're entering a portal or teleporting around the world. Nothing that big happens, just a quick hitch. But in a game where smooth movement and responsive controls are part of the fun, even these tiny micro pauses can jar your rhythm. And for players tackling hardcore mode, those few fractions of a second can feel pretty tense, especially in dangerous areas where every millisecond counts. This new update has started addressing some of that too. While it's not a sweeping overhaul, the patch notes mention that a freeze or stutter bug introduced in the 3.0 expansion is being tackled as part of this rollout. That gives hope that overall stability will be better and those little pause moments will be less frequent or less severe than they were before. It's worth noting that none of these fixes come with new gameplay content or fancy additions. This is a quality of life patch through and through. Blizzard clearly decided that getting these quirks ironed out was the priority right now, especially with the Season 13 ladder on the horizon. The developers didn't want to unleash another big content push while these issues were still floating around, so they've taken the time to make sure the foundation is solid for everyone who's about to throw themselves into the next ladder push. For those who've been following along since the expansion launch, this is a welcome moment. There were a lot of discussions online, from forums to Reddit threads, how frustrating the PlayStation UI bugs could be and how odd it felt to pop back into a beloved game only to run into these little interruptions. Seeing Blizzard respond and actually deliver a fix that players can download and install feels like progress, and it builds confidence that the devs are listening to feedback from the community. So, when you hit update and let your game patch itself to update 1.36, expect things to feel smoother on console menus and watch for fewer hiccups in those inventory-heavy moments with Cain. It's not a massive overhaul, and there's still room to improve other elements of the game's performance. But this patch shows that the team is focused on strengthening the core experience before moving forward with bigger changes. All in all, it's one of those updates that quietly makes the game feel a bit more polished and a bit more reliable, especially if you're someone who's been grinding on PlayStation and felt held back by these little technical issues. No bells and whistles here, just a smoother day of demon slaying and demon loot managing ahead of you. There you go, folks. That's everything you need to know about the new patch that's rolling out for Diablo 2 Resurrected and why it matters for players on consoles. Keep an eye on that download prompt and make sure you're running the latest build so you can get back to playing without those annoying interruptions.